Hey, good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are having a great week. It is hump day. We are the middle of the week. We are finishing up the middle of the week, actually. And I'm excited because my kids have had a great time with their Aunt Karen this week, but we get to go pick them up tomorrow. So that'll be fun to, give them squeezes again and see them. And hopefully they won't be too tired and cranky and arguing with each other in the car ride home. But I'm excited to see them and to hear all about their week. They've been chatting with me over the phone about it, but, it's a lot different when we actually pick them up and we get to hear about all the fun things that they did. Because, they had a great time at Camp Aunt Karen, so hopefully she'll take them back again another time. But I wanted to come on to you tonight to talk about change. Change. Change is hard work. And I posted yesterday and I posted today. I am in a challenge with a whole bunch of other people. Actually, I'm leading the challenge, but I am in a challenge with a whole bunch of people that I'm taking on the challenge just as well as everybody else. And both yesterday and today, we were all challenged to give up something that is not good for us. Give up something for the month of August. So yesterday, the thing that I said I was going to give up was I was going to give up procrastinating. So I know that sounds sort of broad, and how do you really how do you really do that, right? How do you really I can't even think of the word. How do you measure that? That's the word that I was thinking of. It's late. And this is why my second one came in. How do you measure that? How do I measure if I'm giving up procrastination, right? So that's definitely a harder one to measure, but there are some things that I'm putting into play for myself to start to measure that. And if you're on here live, give me a hashtag live. Let me know you're on. And if you are picking this up in the replay, give me a hashtag replay just so I can know who's watching and who's not watching, because I can see a little number up at the top, but I can't always see faces. So really change is so hard, right? So the first thing yesterday, in yesterday's, I gave up the idea of procrastinating, right? I am a big procrastinator. I have this little sign that I held up. I can actually go get it. It's in my kitchen, but I posted a picture of it yesterday that said, if it weren't for the last minute, I'd never get anything done, right? So that is so seriously was until yesterday, until I made this declaration yesterday. That was how I lived things, right? I always work best till the last minute, which leads me to tonight's why I'm up too late usually, right? Because I leave things till the last minute. So that was the first thing that I declared yesterday was procrastination. I am not leaving things till the last minute. So how do I measure that, right? Well, first of all, I always live by my calendar. Right? So if something's in my calendar, I do it right then. So I've started putting even more things into my calendar. Hey, Sandy, I'm so glad you're catching me before bed because that's where I'm headed right after we get off this. Right, so I've started putting even more things into my calendar, right? My daughter's bat mitzvah is coming up at the end of the month, and there are certain things that I've put off until later than I should have because I work well under pressure, but I don't want to be under pressure the next couple of weeks. So really making lists and following my lists and saying and prioritizing and not putting off. If something's written on my list to get done that day, it's going to get done. And in a timely manner. And when I say I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to push it off till later, because generally the things that I push off till later are the things that I don't really want to do, right? They're the things that are either harder or more annoying or whatever. That's what we all procrastinate on. The things that we don't want to do, the things we want to do, we do them quickly. We jump right to them, right? So today I actually took care of some tasks that I've been pushing off. And I said, nope, today is the day. And I went out and I took care of them. And you know what? It felt so good to be able to cross them off my list and to say, I don't have to worry about those anymore. They're done. They're taken care of. Now I can move on to the next things. So really that's what I'm going to be doing every day the month of August is making that list of things that just have to get done that day, that no more pushing them off, no more procrastinating, and just doing them. So that was yesterday's challenge that I was working on. So then today we were challenged to give up a second thing for the month of August. So, okay, this was much harder, right? So when I put this challenge out, I said to everybody, okay, if you gave up something big, sort of like, some people gave up big things like procrastination and that kind of stuff. Some people gave up like very concrete things. One person gave up drinking diet sodas, right? So I said, do the opposite. So what was mine today going to be giving up? I am giving up technology at night, right? 11 o'clock is now my cutoff. By 11 o'clock is now my cutoff for technology. And for those of you who follow me, you know that I'm often up on Facebook a lot later than 11 o'clock. But It's done. Technology is done at 11 o'clock. So it is 10:39. So within 20 minutes, 21 minutes, my phone will be off. My computer will be off. It'll be done. Even if I'm not quite ready to go to bed, right? But the technology will be off. And that's so important because really it's not healthy, right? When you're on technology late at night, and I see this for myself, that when I'm on technology late at night, it keeps you awake. It revs your brain up, right? The blue light filters, and if you're on, you should definitely turn your blue light filter on because the blue light definitely affects our eyes and our brains. So actually my blue light filter is on. I turn my blue light filter on at 9 o'clock. So it already starts to wind that down, which helps. And I was actually talking to somebody last week about blue light glasses. But I have not looked into those. But it's so important really to turn off that technology. Let your brain wind down, right? I get sucked into it, not in a bad way, right? I come live, I do my things. People start messaging with me. I like to talk to people late. I have friends that are on the West Coast, so it's 3 hours earlier for them. But you know what? I'm done with that. My sleep is more important than that, right? My sleep has to take number one priority because if I'm not taking care of my sleep, if I'm not taking care of my health, then I'm not good to anyone. It's not helpful to anyone if I let myself fail in all of those things. So that was where my second vow to myself came in. When I started this program, when I started trying to get healthy 3.5 years ago, that was one of the things that I really focused on was getting my sleep in check, right? Really pulling it together. And for a while I was good about it. And then as everything else, I've slipped back, right? We don't talk about maintenance in our program because there is no such thing as maintenance, right? When you're going along in a journey of something, if you're maintaining, you can't just stay at a steady, flat pace, right? Either you're going to keep climbing and you're going to keep improving, or you're going to backslide. There is no just staying steady. And that's what happened to me in my sleep. And that's what happened to me in using technology late at night, was I got lazy about it, right? I was like, oh, another 10 minutes, another 15 minutes, and whatever. And then all of a sudden it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm still on my computer or I'm still on my phone. And I know what that does to me. I know how I don't feel well when I do that. So that's why this month, that's a big thing that I'm giving up. Technology will be off by 11 o'clock. And I want you guys to hold me accountable on that, right? If you see me posting something after 11 o'clock Eastern time, right? Call me out on it. Please call me out on it. If you see me going live after 11 o'clock Eastern time, call me out on it. Put it in the comments. What are you still doing awake, right? Or what are you still doing on technology, right? If I'm in a conversation with you and it hits 11 o'clock or it hits 10:59, I'm telling you right now, I'm cutting it off. I will say good night and I will say we will talk tomorrow, right? Because unless you're in an emergency, if you're in an emergency, I will make an exception for that, right? But unless it's an emergency, our conversation can finish tomorrow. And that's one of the things that I have to start putting those boundaries for myself. It's such a big, important thing for all of us to create those boundaries for ourselves, right? And to set that up and to set ourselves up for success, because so many of us do that, right? We put everybody else above us. So we put conversations above us. We put things that we have to get done for other people above us, right? And that's what I am taking back this month of August, right? I'm taking back myself. One of the things, I was having a conversation with somebody earlier today. She was somebody else who's doing this challenge, and she was really struggling to figure out what it is that she wanted to give up. And she said, well, what if it's that I add something? And I said, okay. I said, you could add something, but anytime you add something in your life, every time you say yes to something in your life, you're saying no to something else. Or every time you say no to something in your life, you're saying yes to something else. So if you want to add something, let's look at the reverse of that. And what are you saying no to, right? So let me give you an example of that. I am saying no to technology after 11 o'clock. So what am I saying yes to? I'm saying yes to a better night's sleep. I'm saying yes to feeling better the next day. I'm saying yes to just overall a healthier me, right? But when I say yes to technology after 11 o'clock, what am I saying no to? I'm saying no to healthy sleep. I'm saying no to a better day tomorrow. I'm saying no to not having a hungry day the next day, because I know that when I don't get enough sleep, I have a hungry day the next day, which means I'm saying no to my health, both physically and mentally and emotionally in all those ways, right? So that's what we want to think. That's what I want everybody to think about. What are you saying yes to in your life, right? What are you saying yes to in your life? And in the reverse, when you say yes to it, What does it mean you're saying no to? And are those things in check? Is that where you want to be going? Right? That's really powerful, and it's something that we can definitely talk about a lot more on a whole nother night because, right, it's already 10:44 and my technology is going to be off in 16 minutes. But really, it's so key. And a really big piece of this is that I'm making a commitment to myself, right? I'm making a commitment to myself and I'm putting it out there, and I'm going to honor that commitment to myself, which is a whole nother piece as well. I've talked about it a lot before, making commitments and honoring the commitments that we make to ourselves. So I'm honoring this commitment to myself. For the rest of the month, I'm not committing past the rest of the month. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how great I feel, and hopefully I'll continue it past the rest of the month. But this is even going to include Saturday nights, which is really a big deal, because on Saturday nights, right, the Sabbath doesn't end right now until after 9 o'clock, which doesn't give me much technology time, right? But I'm still going to honor that, because one of the really important healthy habits that I teach, is that your daily cycle should be the same 7 days a week, regardless of whether, it's a weekend or not a weekend, right? So theoretically, you should wake up at the same time every morning. You should eat throughout the day at the same time. You should go to bed at the same time every night, which means that Saturday nights, I'm going to have the same rule for myself. So for the next few months, for the rest of this month, in August, you're not going to see me on technology after 11 o'clock on Saturday night, even though I don't get on until late, right? So I'm going to have a very short technology window, which means I'm going to have to jump on and do my live and come off on Saturday nights. But I'm going to honor it, and I'm going to make that commitment. So on that note, it is now 10:46. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say good night, and I'm going to say I'll see you tomorrow, right? And I will be off of technology. I have a few things that I want to wrap up. I've got a couple of messages I want to send to some people to say hello, and I have some people who have been popping in with private messages while we're on here commenting on this, so I want to make sure I don't ignore you guys, but you have just a few minutes, and then we'll talk tomorrow. So have a wonderful night. Go get some healthy sleep. That's where I'm headed, and turn your technology off. Don't keep it on too late because it's not good for you, but if you have it on, turn on the blue light filter because that will definitely help. Have a great night, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.